So I had a crazy experience in dream time last night, and I know I was being woken up enough in it to remember so that I can share. But first, your daily dose of Daisy. Oh, she got a toy. Could get loud. So this is about timeline loops and the sorting hat stuff I've been talking about, Ascension. It's about all of it. It's very timey-wimey, but it all came through in such a way that I was like, oh, like this is easy. So in this experience, we'll call it, this conversation with my guides, this whatever you want to call it, this experience, I was reminded of a prophetic dream that I had back in January. I made a video of it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will include a link to it. Here on YouTube, I believe it was January, or TikTok, it was January 17th. And I had this dream about the black-backed jackal. Now, the jackal and the symbolism has to do, squeaker, it has to do with the Egyptian gods Ma'at and Anubis. Now, these two gods were instrumental in the process of helping souls cross over once they've died. And there was the ceremony where you would have to have your heart weighed. It's essentially Judgment Day. And it's the image of the scales. And you would weigh your heart against a feather. And in order to cross into the afterlife, your heart would need to be as light as a feather. And I explained in that video that this is about healing. It's not about morality. It's not that kind of judgment. Is your soul heavy? Do you have karmic density? Is it sticky? Are you stuck in some way? Now, that is what I've been saying for many months about the sorting hat. Because this whole concept of ascension, it's been spoken of very simply that we are going to leave the third dimension and ascend into the fifth dimension and create the new earth, Shangri-La, la-di-da. But it's very confusing, especially when you bring in concepts of timelines and multiple timelines and merging and collapsing and jumping and shifting and all the crazy stuff we talk about in New Age communities. Now, I've made a couple videos in the past week or so about, she's like flinging the toy up at me. Okay, focus. So I've been talking about this timeline convergence that we've been having. And if you were at my June preview event, I gave it a ton of information about how we're at this convergence point, and then we're going, she's looking at me, and then we're going to diverge again in different timelines. And we are all coming together for it. So in this Dreamtime experience, I was reminded of something I made another video about in January, where I talked about timeline loops. This was such a revolutionary concept to me because typically when we talk about timelines, we see them as linear, even though we know time is not linear. And so it's very confusing when we say, well, some people are on a different timeline and I'm on this timeline, and how does that work? And so what Spirit showed me is that there are these timeline loops. If you've ever seen pictures of the sun where they have these solar arcs, these filaments that shoot off, and they shoot off in different directions like these little loops. And so Spirit told me that's what's happening, that for our collective consensus reality, our collective timeline, time is compressed and almost seems to slow down or halt or is suspended. While meanwhile, people go out in these timeline loops. They go out and they have whatever experiences they need to have that the rest of us aren't having. And that is for their growth, their learning, their karma, all the things. And this, by the way, is often why you get different psychics talking about different things. Some of them are on arcs, and their guidance is for people on that arc. That's why we say use your discernment. Does this apply to you? Does this feel applicable to you? Because not every message is for everyone. Okay, so here's how all this stuff fits together and what that means. So I was shown that in these timeline compressions and the time loops that people are doing, this is all, let's call it a corridor of time. Non-linear, but this corridor of time, this space in human time, outside of spiritual time, where we are getting to wrap up our karma as part of the sorting hat process. And this is all that weighing of the feather ceremony. This is that part of ascension where our lifetimes upon lifetimes of experiences are being measured out, our karma is being cleared, our soul is being weighed. And remember how I have said multiple times, because Spirit has said to me, this takes as long as it takes. This is how it all fits together. It's due to this timeline compression and timeline loops that essentially you have all the time you need personally to work out whatever shit you got to work out, to have your awakening, to have your experiences, to go through your dark nights of the soul, to clear the karma, to make new decisions, to heal, to do all the things. You have all the time in the world because time isn't linear, and the consensus collective timelines are shortening, compressing And then the timeline loops go out and you have as much time as you need individually to do whatever it is you need to do. Now, we are coming up on this timeline convergence where we will have the big collective joint experience, and then we will go off in our various timelines again to have different experiences, to experience our karma in different ways, to move into more creator abilities. That's the new earth. We're going to be creating from the new instead of repeating the karma of the old. So the very fact that we are at this point in time, or coming to this point in time where we're having this timeline convergence, this timeline collapse, where all the timelines are going to be experiencing essentially the same thing at the same time, means that this weighing ceremony is coming to a close. We are wrapping it up in linear time where you have the opportunity to do whatever it is you need to do. So if you are delaying or you are resisting change, you're gonna have a hard time of it, because life's gonna get real loud and spirit's gonna get real up in your face to get you to finish your lessons, to wake up, to have the change, to do the stuff, because we're getting to that point. Now, there is no left behind, okay? There's no rapture. There's no left behind. But how you get through this time period now with the loops and the compression and all the stuff, how you do during this time determines what timeline you will be on after the experience, after the it. Again, there was so much information. There was so much information that came through in my June preview session. You can get that at the link in bio, that explains this timeline stuff. Not just the timeline stuff, but the potential. But what's going to happen after it. So the short of it is, the real short of it is, get your shit together, because that will determine your experience of it and after it. Do you want the experience where we've learned our lesson and we come together and we create some incredible things? Or are you not ready? Do you still want to be mad? Do you still want to make people you want to exact your revenge? Like, are you still a victim? Are you still blaming others? Are you still waiting for the world to change and you not doing your work? You're going to have a harder time of it and after it, and Daisy concurs. Now, how do we do that? It is very simple. We heal. We feel. We make changes. We clear limiting beliefs. We open our hearts up to new experiences. We do all the things we've been talking about, here in the 4 a.m. Club. And you know I have help. I've got an emotional support playlist. I have a free shadow work guidebook. I have a free, no, it's not free. I have a paid emotional mastery course on my website. I know your girl Spirituality with Sam has things to help. I know Nina, your witchy healer, has things to help. Everyone's got something. So do what you are drawn to do, to heal, to work through it, to have a breakthrough, to do the new thing. This is what this time is here for. What all this stuff has shown me, is that after it, we're no longer compressing time. Things are going to happen real quick, and they're going to move forward even faster. We are going to be shooting forth in a new reality very quickly. So for everyone complaining about, I'm on the wrong timeline, I want the good timeline, do your homework. That is what determines that we're weighing the heart. We're weighing against the feather. That is what determines the timeline you're on. Get your shit together, heal yourself, move forward with joy, move forward with positivity. We have got this, but you have to actually do it to get it. All right, I'm gonna go play with my dog. She needs me.